Hey guys, how's it going? Firstly, just wanted to say I hope everybody had a great Christmas and a very happy New Year. So today is officially the first day of 2023, and I figured it's probably the best time to finally do a collection room tour. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, but I've just been really lazy about it. But today is the day, so we are going to kick off the tour here in the home office, where I have a small part of the collection, and then we'll head over to the next room where the main collection is. So 2022 was a pretty good year, had a few pieces join the collection, and I'm hoping that 2023 will see the rest of my pre-orders come in. But for today, we'll start the tour with the Hot Toys Iron Man collection. Now this is basically how I got into collecting in the first place. I picked up my first piece, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, and I remember telling myself that I was only going to get one, but as we all know that, it escalates very quickly, and before I knew it, I had a whole room full of them. Now, if you couldn't tell already, I am a bit of an Iron Man nerd. So I actually had a lot more Hot Toys in my collection at one point, but when I switched over to quarter scale, I decided to sell most of them and just keep the Iron Man collection. So here we have his classic suit, except for the Mark 1. Which I'm still waiting on. So hopefully once that gets released, I'll pick that one up and complete the set. Here we have the Mark 85 and Rescue from Endgame. And then down the bottom, we have the War Machines. Over here we have the Iron Patriot 2.0, which is probably still one of my favorites. So that's the Hot Toys collection, or what's left of it anyway. And being an Iron Man fan, these guys will definitely stay in my collection. So if we now move over to the workstation, you can see there's more Iron Man stuff. Got a couple of prop replica helmets up there. Mark 5, definitely my favorite. And then down here, you've got the Pepper Potts arc reactor gift there. A few more Iron Man stuff. And of course, what's a workstation without an Iron Man chair? Man, I love this thing. I so happy I was able to pick one up and actually got it on special as well, so that was a bonus. Now, taking a break from Iron Man, we have the 1/10 scale X-Men versus Sentinel line. This is by Iron Studios. Now these things are so cool. There was actually quite a bit of an impulse purchase for me. I picked up the Sentinel 1 from Pop Culture, and once I got it, I was like, holy crap, this looks awesome. And so I decided to get Sentinel 3, which I also really like, and the characters that it comes with. So I ordered this one. Actually, this one came from the US, so glad it made it to me in one piece. Now I passed on the second Sentinel, so Sentinel 2, just because I wasn't really a big fan of it. But I did pick up some of these proximity pieces, mainly the Brotherhood, Sabretooth, Magneto at the back there, Pyro, big old fat blob, I love that guy, and then you got Scarlet Witch at the back. But yeah, man, Iron Studios did a killer job with this lineup. I think they look awesome. I actually would really like to see some of those proximity pieces in quarter scale, especially someone like Blob or Pyro. Even if it's exactly the same, but just blown up to quarter scale, that would be awesome. But yeah, man, such a great piece. Don't think I'm going to be adding any more to these, just because I really don't have the space. but you never know. So for now, really happy with this setup. That's a 1/10 scale from Iron Studio. And then over here we have the Endgame Lineup. So this is a mix between Queen Studios and Iron Studios. So we'll start here. This is the Thanos from Endgame. Such an iconic scene. I think Queens did a great job with this one as well. Now I did add a couple of these switch out parts. These were from the Iron Studios Cap and Thor, just to give it a little bit of something. It's got his double blade at the back there. That's actually got a decent weight to it, very solid. And then of course we have the big three. This one's from Iron Studios, their Endgame lineup. So we have the Mark 85. This does have a light up feature which I don't currently have plugged in, but does look pretty cool. Then we have Cap, got his broken shield there. And then of course we have Fat Thor, or Bro Thor, however you want to call him. I think these guys look great together. So Iron Studios, I think they did a fine job. And then here we have another Queen Studios. This is the Iron Spider. I don't have the one with the Tom Holland head sculpt just because I don't think I'll ever display it with that. But really happy with how this one came out as well. So that is the Endgame lineup. And then down here we have a few more Iron Man in the collection. These are the quarter scale statues. Got the Iron Patriot from Sideshow. Got that one for a really good price actually when I first started collecting quarter scales. And this one was a lucky pickup. I was able to get this from Pop Culture well after it was, you know, long sold out. I think they found one in their warehouse, so able to snag it. So really happy with that. And then we have this custom Mark V. I don't actually think there's any other quarter scale Mark Vs out there at the moment, so really happy when this one was announced. And I think they did a really good job with this one. Comes with a couple of switch out parts to, you know, display him either as battle damage or not. Being one of my favorite suits, really glad that I've got this one in the collection. And then here we have the Iron Man quarter scale Mark 45. This is from Hot Toys actually. I did have the other three as well, so Mark 3, 42 and 43, but I ended up selling them because I just didn't have the space. I kept this one because I like the suit, and there's not really any other Mark 45 statues out there, not that I know of anyway. I'm sure there is. But I may still look to offload this one if I decide to pick up any of the newer Queen Studio pieces. So Mark 1 and Mark 3 are definitely ones that I'm interested in. And here we have the Sideshow Mark 7. And this thing has probably one of the best light up features in my collection. I don't have them plugged in at the moment, but the light up on this is insane. So there we go. So that is the collection here in the home office. So it's just a small part of the collection. So we'll head over now to the next room. That's where I have all of the other quarter scale statues in my collection. So we'll go and check that out right now. All right. So here we have the main collection room. So I do spend a fair bit of time in here, either just chilling and admiring the collection, working on the display, you know, unboxing new pieces. But if you can probably tell, it's not the biggest space, but we've got to work with what we have. So, you know, this is constantly a work in progress for me. Always trying to figure out, you know, how to best display the collection, especially with new pieces coming in. There's still a few changes that I want to make here, so we'll stay tuned for that. But we'll kick off the tour here with the XMen Collection on this side of the room, starting with this big boy. This is a custom Juggernaut. Man, he is an absolute beast, absolutely massive. You can see his fist is bigger than mine. I'm so happy to have this one in the collection. I actually got in on him quite late, so I'm happy that I was still able to pick one up. But yeah, he's totally badass. Next to him, we've got this XM Studios Sabretooth. Now, it was a toss-up between this and the Sideshow one. I decided to go with the XM just because, weirdly, the XM one was a little bit more comic accurate than the Sideshow, which is odd because they're usually the other way around. So I'm really happy that I went with this one. And then out the back, this needs no introduction. It's probably one of the best pieces that XM ever produced. This is the Dark Phoenix, and they did an amazing job with this one. Such a cool piece. Those flames are insane, especially on that Phoenix at the back there. Just incredible. Then we have the premium format Mystique. Now, I know a lot of people aren't very happy with the paint on this one, and you know, honestly, it isn't the best, but I think overall this is a really nice statue. I think she looks great, especially with the rest of the villains. And over here we have Magneto. Now, this was actually the first custom piece I ever picked up for my collection. At the time, I was actually looking at the premium format Magneto, and I was talking to another collector about potentially buying his, but he was a little bit undecided at the time if he wanted to sell. And in the meantime, I had another collector reach out and asked if I'd be interested in his custom Magneto. So I went and checked it out at his place, and man, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I definitely want that one. I think he looks awesome. I know that there's a lot of controversy with the group that produced this, but man, they did a killer job. And I think this is still one of the best Magnetos out there. So really happy that he's in my collection. And then over here we have the Sideshow XMen Lineup. I think Sideshow has done a great job with these guys. They look so good as a set. So take a closer look. We've got the Southern Belle. Is such a dynamic pose, being in this flight pose. Definitely one of my favorites. Now the only thing is, I wish that I was able to get the exclusive with the Jim Lee style portrait, but fingers crossed we'll be able to pick one up, a third-party custom in the future, so stay tuned for that. Next to her, we've got one of my favorite characters, Gambit. This one I definitely had to get the exclusive just for that switch out portrait because it looks freaking awesome. I think captures Gambit perfectly. I think they did a great job with this one. So kudos to Sideshow. And then we have Cyclops, leader of the X-Men. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Cyclops as a character, but I think, again, Sideshow did a great job with this one. You know, as best as you can do, I guess, with Cyclops. There's not a lot of great Cyclops statues out there, but I think this one's not bad at all. And then this is one of the more recent ones. This is the Storm premium format. I wasn't a big fan of this when it was first announced, but the more I saw photos of it, especially when she was close to being released, I started to change my mind and decided to pick her up. And I think she came out great. Only thing that I wish they did better is the seam line on her hair particularly. You know, it's quite visible, which is unfortunate. And those damn magnets on her cape, they were a pain to work with. But once you get the hang of it, you know, it's not too bad, and I think she looks great. And of course, an X-Men collection isn't complete without Wolverine. Now, this was actually the first X-Men piece that I picked up for my collection, and there is a ton of Wolverines out there, both customs and licensed. But I think this one still holds up. I really like this one, especially when he's with the rest of the the Sideshow statues as well. I think he fits in really well. So very happy with that one. It still doesn't have that lean that a lot of people had issues with. So fingers crossed. Up the back, we've got the big fella, Colossus. Another great piece by Sideshow. Only thing I wish they did better on this one is the suit. Would have liked a more comic accurate colors on those in that suit, but that's an easy fix. I can easily get him repainted if I want to. So I may still do that at some point. And then we have X-23, companion piece for Wolverine. I think she looks great. Wasn't initially going to pick her up, but got her as a part of a deal with Cyclops, so glad I did. And then coming down here, we've got a couple of customs. So we have Iceman and Knightcrawler. I really like this Knightcrawler. He's came out great. Love that bearded portrait, and I especially love these little bamfs, man. These things are funny as. Lots of parts to this, and putting them together was a little bit time consuming because there's so many parts that keys into his portal at the back there. But I think he came out really nice. Very different to the rest of the team with that desk as his base. And then next to him, probably one of my favorites in the X-Men collection. This is a custom Iceman. Love the clear resin that they went with, especially with that blue tinge, depending on which angle you're looking at him. I think it came out really nicely as well. Shout out to RJ for letting me take this off his hands. Really dynamic. So definitely one of my favorites. And then next to them, we have this absolute beauty. This is the Psylocke. This is actually a 3.5 scale. So you can tell she's a little bit bigger than the rest of them. And usually that would bother me. But she came out so damn nice that I really don't mind. Man, this portrait is just gorgeous. She comes with 3 other portraits, but this one's definitely my favorite. Comes with a couple of switch out arms as well. But man, this is one sexy ass piece. So dynamic, beautifully done. All right, moving on, we have another Sideshow. This is the cable premium format, but you'll see he's got a custom Techno Virus portrait. I think this is a really nicely done third-party portrait, and I think it just elevates the piece. I didn't realize that the head that came with this statue, the actual original Sideshow one, is so small compared to the rest of his body that almost looked comical once you noticed it. So yeah, this head sculpt just completely takes it to the next level, I think. So I'm really happy with that one. And of course, next to him, we have El Sabanur, or Apocalypse, his arch nemesis. This again is a nice custom piece. Got a nice size to him as well. You can see. This one did cause me a few headaches, just because the factory dropped the ball and when he was meant to ship, so it took forever. There were some issues with the coils; they didn't fit on the other switch out parts that he came with. But other than that, I think this one came out really nice as well. Love the comic look to this one. So yeah, Apocalypse. And then over here we have Archangel, another great piece. This is by the same group that did Psylocke, and he's also meant to be 1/3.5 scale, but I think he scales more closely to quarter scale, to be honest, which is great because, you know, with that huge wings, you know, coming out like that, if he was any bigger, it would be almost impossible to display him in my setup. You can see he already takes up pretty much the whole cabinet by himself. But this one's another great dynamic piece. So really, really glad that I was able to add this one to the collection as well. So that is the X-Men collection for now. Now there's a couple more pieces that I'm hoping to join, but space is becoming a real issue, so I've got to be really selective now with you know, what pieces I bring in, and I've got to figure out how to display them without overcrowding the setup. So now move on to the center of the room. We have the throne pieces. So I've only got 2 at the moment. There is a third that will be joining them hopefully soon. So I do have a Thanos on throne on pre-order. It's a custom one, but these 2, I think they look great together. So we'll take a closer look at firstly the Magneto on throne. Now this is a huge piece. I knew it was going to be a big statue when I pre-ordered him, but man, when I actually finally got him in and unboxed him, I was still shocked with how big this thing is. That head, it's like bigger than my head, almost double the size of my head, to be honest. I still think this is a really nice piece. Super impressive. Lots going on. I know a lot of people don't like that it's, you know, quite busy, but I actually really like that. So that's still, I think, one of the most impressive pieces in my collection. And then over here, this one's probably one of my favorite pickups from this year, or actually I should say last year, 2022. This is a custom Doctor Doom on throne. Absolutely badass. The only thing that I wish they did better with this one is the paint on the throne itself. Not that they, you know, did a bad job with the application. It's more just the colors that they chose. I think they could have done better to make some of this details pop, because I think it's such a nice, nicely sculpted base. But again, that's something that I can fix later on if I wanted to. I've got a guy, Nick, who's does some great job with, you know, painting, so I might hit him up to get this one repainted at some point. But for now, man, still such a freaking cool piece. All right, moving on, we have this Sideshow duo. This is the Thor Breaker of Brimstone and the Gladiator Hulk, both sculpted by the super talented Daniel Bell. Did an amazing job with both of these. Now, I've had the Gladiator Hulk for a while now. It's actually one of the first statues that I purchased, and I was quite shocked when he came in 2 huge boxes, especially coming from, you know, 1/6 scale Hot Toys. I couldn't believe how massive he was. And then I only recently picked up the Thor statue to you know, get them displayed together, and I'm so glad I did, because I think they look amazing. You know, fit perfectly together. So well done to Sideshow on this too, and well done to Daniel Bell for such an incredible sculpt on both of these. All right, coming down, we've got a couple more customs. So you've got Logan and also this huge Venom. Now this is such a badass statue as well. Now you can actually display him as either Venom or Wolvenom, or Venomized Wolverine, however you want to call it. So he comes with a couple of switch out heads. You can see at the back there behind Logan, but also switch out arms that have some of the adamantium claws as well. So I haven't quite decided yet on how I want to display him moving forward, but for now I have him displayed as Venom, which is really badass. Love the paint on this one actually. You can't tell in the video, but they did this really nice sort of purple tinge to him depending on how the light hits it, so it's not a full black, which is really cool. And then here we have this custom Logan. Now this is actually a really nice piece as well, but when he first came in, the factory paint job wasn't the best. You know, it just felt a little bit flat, and so I had Nick from Bazaar Customs do a repaint on this one, and man, he absolutely killed it and brought this piece to life. You know, now you get to see all of the textures, details on the sculpt, which is really nice. Now this is just a temporary spot for him. I will be moving Logan at one point. Just haven't figured out yet where I'm going to put him. But yeah, so that's his temporary spot at the moment. And then moving on, we have this Imaginarium Arts Hulkbuster. Man, this thing is a beast. It's so heavy and solid. I remember the first time I unboxed this and tried to assemble it by myself. I was sweating balls. it was so damn hard to put them together. But I've had a few goes now, and putting him apart and moving him. So it's much easier to do it now. But the first time, man, that was a challenge. Now I know there's the Quinn Studios Hulkbuster that just got recently released, and that looks absolutely awesome, but I just never felt the need to pick it up just because I have this one already and I'm really quite happy with it. So this one will be moving to the home office at one point because I have this spot earmarked for one of my other pre-orders. So once that comes in, I'll be moving him to the home office with the rest of the Iron Man, but for now this is his home. And then above him, we have probably one of my favorite statues in my collection at the moment. This is a custom Silver Surfer. And to be honest, I'm not even the biggest Silver Surfer fan, but as soon as I saw this one, when it was announced, I knew I had to have it. Loved everything about this piece, the base, the concept, the pose on Surfer. And I think they did a great job executing this one. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites. The only thing with this is he's so big, particularly his depth, and so it makes it really hard to display him, but I'm glad it's able to make it work. You can see he does stick out a little bit, but because he's so back heavy with his base, I have no concerns with him toppling over, because all the weight is actually back. So he's totally fine. He's nice and secure there. And then moving on to this shelf, we have the trio of the Spider, the Panther, and the Devil. I'll take a closer look at Iron Studios Daredevil. I think they did a really nice job with the sculpt on this one. Looks so real. But my favorite part of this is the base. Actually, I love the textures on the base. I think they did a great job with the details on that one. This one is it was a piece that I actually wanted for quite a while, but it took me a little bit of time to find one. So shout out to Denny, who's a local collector here, who let me take him off his hands. I'm really happy to have this one in the collection as well, as with most of them. Now this one is a custom Black Panther. This was actually produced so freaking quick. The turnaround of this was super fast, and he came out really nice. Love the pose on him. Love the more comic look as well, and even the paint on his suit. It's not black; it's actually a bit more blue, which is how he was often drawn in the comics anyway. He's got a sort of this blue shade to him. So this came out really nice. He does also come with a Chadwick Boseman portrait. And I think they did really, really well with the likeness on that one as well. So I don't have that one displayed, but it's definitely a good option as well if you want to change it up. And then over here we have this symbiote transformation SpiderMan. This is a freaking awesome piece. Now I can't believe I passed on this initially. I'm so glad that I changed my mind and actually picked it up, because he turned out so damn nice. And I know a lot of people that missed out on this, sort of, quite bummed, because they really want to have this piece. But when it was on pre-order, a lot of people didn't actually, pay any attention to it until it was, finished. And yeah, a lot of people unfortunately missed out. So yeah, love that combo there. Actually, don't think it really makes sense, but I think they still look great together. And then lastly, we have a couple more customs down here. So we'll start with this Human Torch. Now, don't actually know if there's any other Human Torch quarter scale statues out there at the moment. And if there aren't many of them. And I definitely think this is probably one of the best, or if not the best at the moment. Now, he does have the other three being produced, other three Fantastic Four members being produced as well by the same group. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be picking up all four of them, just because I don't have the space. But I do have his sister, Sue Storm, on pre-order. I think she looks amazing as well. Can't wait for her to finally be finished. But yeah, they did a great job on Johnny. The base, the flame on the base does light up, and that looks really cool. Comes with a few switch outs as well, but this one's definitely my favorite display options. And then right next to him is Doom versus Surfer. Now, this is not what he looked like when I bought him. He was actually the traditional green, Dr. Doom, and then you had Silver Surfer down here. But when I picked up my Doom on Throne, I really wanted to create a different version of the character, and luckily both of these characters have a different variation of themselves in the comics, and so I decided to go with the God Emperor Doom with the white cloak. And oh man, this turned out absolutely amazing. Again, Nick did such an incredible job with bringing this one to life, and I think this is even better than the original. We also decided to go with the Silver Surfer Black, just to give a little bit of contrast against the white Doom, and also repainted the base, which was sort of really dark as the original. We went with a more light sort of moon surface look to it, and I think that really helps make the piece stand out a lot more. So I'm really, really happy with that. And now it's a custom 1 of 1, which is great. So yeah, that is pretty much the collection as it stands. Like I said, I still have a few pieces to join, hopefully this year. But yeah, I'm very quickly running out of space, both display and also storage for all the damn boxes. So I've really got to slow down with any more pre-orders this year, because I still have a number of pre-orders to come. Most of them I already know where I'm going to be putting them, but it's still going to be quite tight. So I've got to be really smart with what I pick up, or something has to give, and I'm going to have to offload something else if I want to potentially bring in new pieces in the future. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, look, I'll do another video probably to talk about the display and how I set up my shelves and the lighting, because I've had a few questions about that. So I'll do that in a separate videos. And of course, once I start getting in more of my other pre-orders, I will probably do another one of these collection room tours. Hopefully it won't take me as long as this time around. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. And again, have a happy new year, and hope 2023 brings you more statues. And yeah, look forward to giving you guys an update once I get more of my pre-orders in. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.